to this. One is financial independence and the other is financial freedom. So we often mix the two.
Financial freedom is not restricted just to women. Even a lot of men do not understand the difference between financial freedom and financial independence.
Women are very much capable of handling their finances. But there is this hesitation that often comes, this conditioning starts from home, where we've been ingrained with the belief that money matters are better handled by men.
Women, they're well placed in the career, making a lot of money in terms of being financially independent, but still their husbands are managing their bank account and the portfolios. So some girls already know what they need. So we all need to support them. Some don't see what's possible, so we need to motivate them. The salary comes in, but where it goes, how it grows, it goes and how it grows and how it's saved are generally left to someone else. Financial empowerment for a woman is not about throwing them into a deep sea. It's about letting them swim from the start.
That one should save at least 20% of their earnings and invest as early as possible. So that the compounding actually works its magic. So before buying something, if we pause for a moment and ask, do I really need this? And trust me, this simple habit makes a huge difference in building long-term financial freedom.
The entire new generation need to understand that because they've been born and brought up in a more comfortable situation than what we were or our grandparents were.
Hi Nitika, hi Ankit, and welcome to the About Her Show, a show where we largely get trailblazing women to share the story of their lives with us. To tell us about their successes, failures, ups and downs, challenges, all of that. So that not only do they get to showcase themselves, but they also help us inspire other women. Women who are listening in, watching the show, but for some reason have not been able to fulfill their dreams, follow their heart. And then along with women, we also get men on the show, men who champion such trailblazing women, because we believe that for a truly gender inclusive world, men and women need to be allies in this journey. Now, today's episode is special for two reasons. First of all, of course, we get a man and a woman on the show, which has never happened before. That's one. And second of all, we are going to be talking about something which is not only very close to my heart, but also something which a lot of people, men and women both, don't like to talk about. It's like it's there yet not there, but it's like more of a man's domain, always has been considered. And you know what I'm talking about: financial independence, financial literacy of women. Well, of course, we see a lot of women who've become financially independent. They earn their own money and more than ever before. But when it comes to literacy, doing something with their money to make it grow, build their wealth, whatever, that is not really happening because there are some gaps over there, which is what we really want to talk about. But of course, before that, once again, a very, very warm welcome to the two of you on the show.
Thank you, Sangeeta, for inviting us, both of us, to the part of the show. And especially as you said, a man, I don't know how much I can give my best. I'll try to give my best based on my experiences over the last 25 years.
We'll extract
before we'd actually thought of doing it together, Ankit, he was skeptical. He thought that me and you will not allow him to speak. So I think we'll allow him to speak more.
We'll see. No, it depends on what he wants to say.
Yeah, then we can edit it.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So then let's get started with the first question. Now, as you understand that when we say financial freedom, it like means different things to different people. Like some people may feel that freedom means, and I'm here talking, in the context of women, financial freedom may mean that, okay, I've given you a certain amount of pocket money to spend every month or every week. You can do whatever you like with it. For some, it may mean I'm earning my own money. And for some, it may mean that not only am I earning my own money, but I'm also making it grow, making it bigger and more than ever before. So my question to both of you is that when we say financial freedom, what does that really mean to you? And do you feel most women today understand the difference between being financially independent and actually being financially free? So, Ankit, you can go first.
So I think I should start with Nitika. She would have some thoughts and maybe add on.
Fine, I'll go first. Ladies first.
Ladies first.
All right.
We cover this to start with. Then we can fight.
Sangeeta, you rightly asked, there are two aspects to this. One is financial independence and the other is financial freedom. So we often mix the two. Financial independence is when I'm earning my own income, I'm able to meet my own expenses without having to rely on someone else other than except for my job or my business, whatever my main source of income is. And on the other hand, there is financial freedom, which is having enough assets or I would say passive income that that my money is working for me, my money is making money without me having to make money. So one is about earning power and the other is about long-term sustainability. And of course, adding to it, yes, there has been a significant change in the society, of course, from our grandmother's time to ours and then now to Gen Z. But one thing that has not changed is that we women still feel that, we equate that earning our own income is somewhat being financially free. And that's not it. If we ask this one question from us that if I wish to take a sabbatical or a childcare leave without really having to depend on anyone else for money, and that will give us the answer whether I'm financially free or I am financially independent.
Yes.
Honestly,
yeah.
Honestly, I beg to differ. I think personally, I feel financial freedom is not restricted just to women. Even a lot of men do not understand the difference between financial freedom and financial independence. We all are just accustomed to rather ingrained to work, to aspire to earn more and more. But I don't think so. Most of us are working actually to be financially free. We're trying to be financially independent. We're just working to make our ends meet for a child education, child marriage, or old age, spending on the vacations. But that thought of moving from financial independence to financial freedom is missing in our society, and both from men and the women's side.
That is actually true. This is pretty generic because a lot of us, like you said, are just earning enough to meet our expenses. And there is no gender difference here because even men probably at the end of the day are just looking to, have some extras for a vacation or maybe, child's education or whatever. But as far as real freedom is concerned, where you don't really have to worry about money, that's not really happening.
That's not happening.
So tell me, when it comes to women, what do you think holds women back from gaining financial confidence? I mean, whether it is, a lack of early exposure to money management, mental blocks around handling finances, or gaps like, limited access to mentors, role models. I mean, what do you think is holding women back?
Sangeeta, I feel women are very much capable of handling their finances. But there is this hesitation that often comes, not sure the hesitation is because of the lack of confidence, or is it that subtle conditioning that has happened over a number of years? And Sangeeta, if you would remember that I did write a blog for your e-magazine on gender biasnesses faced by women when it comes to financial literacy.
Yeah.
And of course, my friend is again going to disagree with me because whenever it comes to gender biasness, we are never on the same page. And I think it has taken us months to prepare for this podcast just because every time we would just disagree on these topics. Okay. But then, of course, if I go back in time, then I think that somewhere, this conditioning starts from home where we've been ingrained with the belief that money matters are better handled by men. And that is how it has been passed down the generations. I'll just add a very funny example to this. अगर गाड़ी खराब हो जाती है एंड एज अ वुमन और अ मैन ओके आदमी को भी गाड़ी ठीक करनी नहीं आती होगी लेकिन वो बोनट खोल के खड़ा हो जाएगा अज्यूमिंग कि उसको गाड़ी ठीक करना आता है that's how it is that as women we've been also ingrained with the belief that this is something which is better handled by men,
right?
And after having spoken to so many women about their financial literacy, how they feel about finances, I think not all of us are prepared. In fact, I remember this woman who I met in a women's car rally. And Sangeeta, that woman really took me aback because her main time job was to invest the money that her husband was making. And she was really a pro. In fact, she was one woman who has really captured my mind that I would remember. And I felt that that woman was future ready. And she would attain financial freedom much ahead than any of us.
Right.
And now, if I say it, if I have to add it structurally, it is the lack of early exposure as a girl child that we are often excluded from this conversation. So, when I was growing up, I always saw that my father never discussed where he was investing his savings with my mother. And somewhere, boys are kept in the conversation and taught to invest to create wealth while girls are taught to save for the rainy day. So both the scenarios are completely different and the purpose behind is totally different. And again, I'm sure Ankit would again disagree with whatever I've just said.
Let's see.
But I will give you an example of how the society has shaped it. So, आप कभी भी कोई TV advertisement देखो, while selling these term insurances or financial products, you always see that it is the man of the house who has made these investment decisions.
Right.
And a woman is always in gratitude because she is able to reap the benefit because the man took that decision. और हमें कैसे दिखाते हैं? We are shown as a sobbing widow and full of gratitude कि my husband bought this term insurance which is now saving me from these financial hurdles. Had he not done it so, I would have not been able to pay for my son's education. तो अब देखो ना that this is how the society has conditioned the entire ecosystem. And I truly believe that we have to undo this years of belief that said that this isn't your space.
I agree with Nitika about a lot of things you have said. Definitely, the society has been accustomed that way. But trust me, when I go and meet a lot of men, I think more closely and they discuss with us, I'm sure the biggest barrier is the mindset. Even men are not accustomed or learn over ages what the financial freedom and independence is all about. Again, what I'm saying, we all are just learning how to earn more, but not to become freedom. Now, I think the biggest challenge about is not passing from one generation to another generation because access is there. Everybody has the access. Now, the mindset has to change. That the financial conversation is very, very common between men and women.
Right.
Because when a lot of time it happens, the men sit in a group of people, they are talking about new insurance, new projects, new stocks, new real estate investment. But what happens to women? Do you guys do that?
Well, how do you know? You're never part of our conversation. And yes, you're right. Actually, it's
complicated. It's complicated.
It is.
But I'm not against that. Woman has to step in now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. This has not been a part because, like Nitika rightly pointed out, women right from the early stages are never exposed to these kind of conversations. They don't see their mothers doing it, they don't see their aunts doing it, so it is very, very natural. I mean, even now, I guess if you go to some parts of the country, some parts of this world, you'll still have women or young girls whose only ambition in life is to get married with the husband taking care of everything. So this is the mindset. So both of you are absolutely right. It is the mindset, it is the thought process, all that has to change. And of course, everybody has to do it. We women have to start talking about it. Men have to start accepting that this is changing. And that's how, society will change. That's the reason why I have both of you here. Because you're.
Thank you. For instance, my wife, she know all my investment, but she's not interested in taking any decisions. She said, I have a choice and you decide. And that's what the scary part is.
Yeah.
Because money is one thing you can't afford to ignore.
Absolutely.
You cannot ignore that. So I don't think so I can change my mom's generation, but I need to try for changing for my daughter. Why if I can't even think to try? It would be dangerous for me, but definitely for my daughter.
Definitely.
And this doesn't need any kind of government scheme, just a dining table conversation.
Yes.
That is where the real policy change will start.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure it won't happen overnight.
No.
One dinner, one chat, one money story at home. And I think that's a good start.
Absolutely.
Because today's Gen Z people don't have a challenge in terms of accessing any information.
Yeah.
There's a social media, blogs, books, so much guidance. Women and men taking care of the money. But I even see well-qualified people. I have friends who are women, they're well-placed in the career, making a lot of money in terms of being financially independent, but still their husbands are managing their bank account and the portfolios. They're not even aware of it. So that has to change.
Yes, yes, very true. Okay. So moving on, Nitika, from a woman's perspective, and Ankit, from your side as well, can you share how your own family's money conversations shaped your early attitude towards saving and investing? I mean, conversations or the lack of conversations, whatever it was.
Okay.
Okay, when it comes to saving and investing and spending, I think I'm a true blend of both my parents. My dad would always get uptight about spending and would get after me to save my salary, block my funds in long-term plans like EPF, PPF, or if it was stock, he would say just buy it and forget it. Of course, because he wanted me to reap the benefit of compounding.
Right.
And he would insist that I should save at least 20% of what I was earning. And then on the other hand, my mother, she was always financially independent, but her major savings went into purchase of jewelry apart from, her other shoppings. But she was very fond of dressing up, so she shopped a lot. And yes, of course, as women, we somehow do get lured into buying jewelry because we presume that it's an investment. Of course, it is a liquid asset, it appreciates, but it is not an investment, it is in its truest sense. So, if I have to invest in jewelry, I would say I would not invest in jewelry, but I would buy gold, silver. That is the truest form of investment.
Right.
But then, yes, as it runs in my genetics and knowing that jewelry is not an investment, I still buy. Of course, I'm a woman, that also runs through me.
Of course.
But so, yes, as far as my family habits are concerned, so from my father, I learned how to invest, keep a little tight pockets when it came to spending. And from my mother, I invested in jewelry. So this is what my family habits are.
You have to be a mix. You have to be a mix of both. Absolutely. Ankit, what about you?
It's my life. I might as well enjoy a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Sangeeta, what I'm going to start with, I'm sure Nitika is going to laugh it. We talk it all the time. So I'm a Bania by birth and of course by profession as well.
Yeah.
So I think that the money runs into my genetics.
Right.
And how it can be multiplied also runs in my blood. So my dad has been a banker. All his money used to go into real estate investment. And he would always save his money, buy real estate, and then he would rotate out. But what he made sure that while I was in a teenage, all his meetings used to happen on a Sunday.
Okay.
When I'm off from the school. And he always used to take me as a part of that meeting, make me sit there. I was not allowed to speak on those meetings. I still remember class, I think it started from class 7th. I was not allowed to speak in the meeting, but he used to take me every meeting just to observe and learn.
Right.
He never forced me, but I think I learned that and started enjoying it rather than spending time on Sundays with my friends. Going out, I used to look forward for every weekend. And then after the meeting, I'm sure that we would talk about these meetings like two men would do. Would ask why he did an investment, why he did not, what was my opinion, while he was negotiating a deal, what was my opinion about it. So I think that has helped me to change my entire outlook for the investments and saving. Rather, it actually helped me within first 2 years of my starting a job. I bought my first real estate.
Wow. Okay.
Very few people are able to do it. So that childhood has always gone into habits of savings and investing. Now I understand today that how my money works for me, even if I don't work.
Right.
And that's where the beginning of financial freedom started. So one more example, my dad was used to invest a lot of equity. So he used to make sure that I go to the broker every evening on my cycle and get those IPO forms for him. And he made me feel that. And he will make sure, okay, tell me what is the price today and at what price. And I made some wrong decision as well, but he never questioned about it. But that was a small money so that he could afford. And I think that's where the start happened and it just ran into my blood.
See, Sangeeta, this is where, that's why I said that somewhere it is ingrained in our society. He had an elder sister also, but his dad chose him to do it. Maybe because he was more curious, but then it was a conversation that was gifted to him and probably not to his sister.
True, true. I totally agree. So, while I agree that early exposure to financial matters is very essential, but then it has to be gender agnostic. Both girls and boys need to be exposed because ultimately take care, So, yeah.
I completely agree. It has to be completely gender agnostic. But maybe I'll be a little controversial. A lot of times, a lot of sons pick up more. I have a 9-year-old kid and two daughters. My son and my elder one is more interested in talking about finances rather than the middle one. So that's how I think the kids are.
I think it's very, very, individualistic also. It doesn't have anything to do with their ability to comprehend or understand. Because that interest is not there. But the fact that, you are giving them that opportunity, that is what is required. If you don't give an opportunity, you cannot assume that girls don't understand because you never.
They understand. They understand far better. I have more than half of my workforce is women, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, true, true. Okay, so one of the banes of our societies and the world in which we live in is log kya kahenge. Various things, various scenarios, and various situations in life or even opportunities we are not able to avail of because of log kya kahenge. And it, of course, starts at home. Now, tell me, how does this conditioning around image consciousness hold women back from taking financial risks or even asking questions related to money? And how do you think we are evolving in this space from the old India of our parents and grandparents to the new India? And have you seen any shifts? I mean, any one of you could go first.
I think Log Kya Kahenge has been one of the biggest invisible chains.
Yeah.
Binding not only women, but society at large. And as said, it starts at home. In fact, as the girls, when we are growing up, our mothers only say, "Aise mat kiya karo, aise mat baat karo, log kya kahenge." So this is the constant thing that we as girls grow up to.
Yeah.
And so when, so that's how we've been imbibed, ingrained, and that's how culturally we've been. So now, we have this certain kind of a thing that, we have to maintain a certain image in the society. So we are supposed to ask these uncomfortable questions or take bold financial steps. And also, I think we've not been given a space where I am openly able to say that I don't understand this investment, because again, I feel that, I'll be questioned as a woman with a low IQ. And if I ask too much, then people will probably call me too aggressive or too pestering. So this image consciousness is definitely there, but the shift is there, Sangeeta. I mean, till my generation, I'll be more image conscious. But when I see these younger girls, the Gen Z and girls who are working in my office also, they are able to challenge the norms and they are able to take the shift. So they are able to invest in stock markets. They would, if they have the fund, I'm sure they would want to buy a property also. So the shift is there, and where they don't think that what others are going to think about me or opine about me, but this is what I want for my future, and that's a powerful shift. In fact, they don't just stop here. They are able to settle the scores with their spouses also, that this is what I spend and you spend less, so you owe this to me. So they are actually challenging the norm.
Yeah. Ankit?
Yes, Sangeeta, I'll answer this like looking 4 generations from my own family, and I think nothing can be closer than to see examples like maybe my grandmother, who never, maybe she went to school for a few years. After that she didn't. My mother grew up in a time when the options were limited, but it was not an issue that she was incapable, but there are a lot of things which was not accessible.
Right.
So education was never a priority back then. She didn't have much say in most of the things. She didn't have a chance to build a career, make independent choices. So life for her was more responsibilities than ambitions. Then my elder sister came in. The world was opening up. She studied. She graduated from a great college, made her own decisions. But that felt like a leap forward. That the world is world. But even then, I think the idea for empowerment was more being getting educated to the girls. and not necessarily that they were trying to build something of their own or chase a dream. So that was not happened 30 years ago when my sister was growing up. And then I look at my wife. She studied a lot. She's a sharp teacher today, teaching business studies to grade 11, 12, hardworking. But as I said earlier, she's not interested in finance or managing money. But that's perfectly okay. But because she has a choice, but she got to decide what she wants to. Right. For me, that's real empowerment is that having that option per se. Absolutely. But now I look at my daughter. She's just starting going to college, and she's something altogether different. Yeah. She's young, but she already asked questions with me. What do I do? How much I make? How money works? What the investment is? Where do I do my investment? So she wants to be part of this change of becoming financially independent and freedom. She's very interested in finance, building something, and I don't need to push her. It is coming out of own curiosity. Correct. So I think from a mother or a grandmother who had no options to a daughter who's asking more. So that's the biggest shift I've seen in my lifetime. And that's what we want. So some girls already know what they need. So we all need to support them. Some don't see what's possible, so we need to motivate them. But either way, I see there's an opening of doors which is happening in the society. And that's a shift from old India to a new India. So it's about having those possibilities, not just progress. Absolutely. That's a shift.
Wonderfully put, because you've not only explained the generational transition, but what you said about support and motivation. That is so, so crucial. I think these are the two ingredients that you need. If you are interested, you get all the support. If you're not interested, at least you're motivated. You are told, you're shown how it is important for you to know that. And that, I think, the more we do it, the better it is. And it shows the transition that is happening. So, Nitika, you were talking about, sharing the financial burden at home, where you mentioned that some of your colleagues, they're kind of, in a way, comparing expenses with husbands. So tell me, in this new India, this new world that we are talking about, are women really sharing financial duties at home, or does the burden still fall on the male members? And if not, then how can the balance shift?
Honestly, Sangeeta, even if we go back in time to our grandmothers, and women were always sharing financial duties at home, just in a different way. Okay. And even if you could remember, while growing up, our grandfathers would give their entire salaries to our grandmothers to take care of the household expenses, kids, clothing, anything that was needed. And our grandmothers, in spite of their very minimal qualifications, were able to budget the expenses. Right. And no matter how low pay scales were back in the day, they were always able to save for the rainy day. मतलब कभी भी कोई जरूरत होती थी तो वो उनके एक emergency fund which they had created in themselves, उसमें से हमेशा पैसे निकलते थे. It was never that they had to really ask for money from someone. So, but of course, back in those days, investment opportunities were limited, money was limited. But I think as a society, we didn't nurture their financial capability. And you just think, had we done it back then what benefit society would have seen today in a big way? Yeah. And to shift the balance or equate the responsibilities, rather, I would say financial responsibilities, I think we just need to give our women folks a little nudge, and I'm sure they will do better.
Okay.
I agree, but I just odd one out between the two of you. So I think the biggest controversial thing in this is, and the point is, as a society, there's always a belief that it is a duty of the man to be the provider and women to be the caretakers. And even that is not changing. Today, the women are working to become additional support to the family.
Right.
A lot of people think that ways. And we have to accept that there's a daughter-in-law coming. No, she's working, so she'll add to my son's expenses or income. They can manage things better, become a part of the society, become a part of a better standard of living, rather than they have to be equally part of it. I'm not sure it's just for everyone. I know this is changing, happening. I'll give you an example. A very close friend of mine, she has been working and earning and doing her career far better than her husband. And after she conceived, both of them actually decided that the husband will be a stay-home dad and she'll go back to work. That change is happening, but it's happening at a very small speed, very small speed. Gen Z might be more. Like one of my team members, she's just got married and she was just telling me that how she and her husband has decided clear boundaries about how they will share the expenses as small as rent or paying groceries. So that shift is happening. The societal norm is broken, but I think there's a far way to go.
Still at a snail's pace.
Definitely. See, anything which is so deeply embedded in the society, it will take time. It just cannot happen overnight. But I think the best thing is, or the most encouraging part of it is that it is happening. So it may be a drop in the ocean, but at least it has started to happen.
We need to have more drops.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Part of the ocean.
Yeah. So Ankit, my next question is to you, that you've worked with companies across the globe, and where there are global models. And so my question is that, are there some global models we can learn from to promote women's financial participation in India?
I'm sure. So I was 2005-6. I was working in Canada, and I was a finance guy. But the biggest thing I saw there is, in terms of most of the companies or the clients I have worked with, all the senior management in the finance world, there were more women than men. So that was an eye opener for me. But making an inclusive thing, I think honestly, the most interesting models I see is not coming from the West. Take example Rwanda. After the crisis which happened in the 1990s, the women were thrust into leadership and the financial roles. Maybe not by design, by necessity.
Right.
Today, if you look at Rwanda, it ranks in the top countries for women's economic participation. Close to around, look at Bangladesh.
Right.
There's so much focus on the microfinance for women. So women has not just been a borrowers, they have become entrepreneurs, decision makers, and contributors to the household financial planning. I'm sure there's a lot of microfinance happening here as well, but it's not giving that push per se. So what standouts across successful models, whether it's Kenya, Canada, Cambodia, is that women are now treated as economic agents, not just dependents.
Right.
So that shift will help us to go further. In India, we are getting there. A lot of women do earn, but I think very few own them. The salary comes in, but where it goes, how it grows, and how it grows and how it's saved are generally left to someone else.
Right.
So we need to stop women financial participation as something to start, not just getting her the first job.
Correct.
And to do that, it has to start much earlier, like maybe teaching all your kids how to budget their pocket money, open their student bank account in high schools, involving them buying a family insurance or some level of investment, maybe home, real estate, which thing they can start.
Correct.
So the family has to start talking the things. The entire growing up process has to be more normal about money.
Yeah.
So at a later stage of life, it becomes less intimidating.
Absolutely.
That I put it this way, like financial empowerment for a woman is not about throwing them into a deep sea. It's about letting them swim from the start. I think that shift has to happen.
Yes, I agree. If you that, like we earlier said, it has to start early. All right. So we've spoken about starting early, exposing children, whether it's a boy or a girl, to finance and money matters and all of that. But now, of course, you guys are professionals. You deal with finance all the time. You started accountants and all. So tell me, if a 25-year-old woman, we don't know whether she was exposed to financial knowledge in her early years or not, we don't know. But if somebody like her was just starting her career and is listening to this podcast, what advice would you give her on building a solid foundation for financial freedom?
If I was speaking to a 25-year-old woman, I'd share the same advice my father gave me when I was young. That one should save at least 20% of their earnings and invest as early as possible. So that the compounding actually works its magic. It's really easy to get tempted by these e-commerce applications, ongoing sales, impulse purchases. I completely understand spending on yourself is important. Enjoying that cup of coffee at the cafe is important. Looking and feeling good is important. But after all, and I understand that we have, one life to live and we need that motivation to go to work and the slogging has to be worth it. But knowing the difference between a need and a want is the key.
Right.
So before buying something, if we pause for a moment and ask, do I really need this? And trust me, this simple habit makes a huge difference in building long-term financial freedom.
Correct.
And look who's talking about.
I knew this was coming.
Telling the world not to shop, huh? You need to preach what to teach, huh?
So
But jokes are
sometimes, even if you know, you still know, you also know that what you're doing is not right. So you're probably telling others not to do it. So that's totally fine.
You're defending her now.
Well, yes, I will.
I would not like to fight on this. I lose, I know that.
No, but what would you tell her, 25-year-old?
Jokes apart, my piece of advice to the young women is don't wait to be good at finance. Just start, just begin.
Right.
You do not need to know everything on day one. Open a saving account. Try the small step. Simply learn what the numbers on a payslip mean. What are the deductions? What are your taxes? I know it sounds boring, but understanding the basics like how much income you make and where it goes gives you a lot of clarity and control. So that has to be the first step.
Right.
The second is remain curious. You cannot or you don't have to become a financial expert overnight. Start reading one blog. Now the information is not a problem. Everything. Listen to one podcast. Ask one question. Financial independence is not about being wealthy. It's about just having that freedom to make your own choices.
Right.
And that freedom can happen just by taking a very small steps. But everybody has to understand that investing is not about becoming the next Warren Buffett or Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. You just start about taking these little conscious decisions.
Right.
Start early, start now. Stay curious. Remember, you don't have to know everything. You cannot. But just enough to make sure that you know your money is not having more fun than you.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one. Yeah. Right. So that's right.
So start early.
Absolutely. And I think that is true of a boy or a girl, whoever it is.
Correct.
I think we need to give this piece of advice to everybody because ultimately everybody wants to be financially free, whether it's a man or a woman, a boy or a girl.
I think the biggest thing, I had a small blog on this is, the biggest thing is spending this plastic money or UPI money. Yeah. When it was a cash, you used to feel it from a heart.
Yes.
You saw it going.
You saw it going. And now it's that tuck. I think the
Scanner does
for Swiggy, Zomato or Amazon or Flipkart.
Whatever it is, yes. And you don't actually see it.
They keep popping up. So, they are kind of enticing you that go purchase.
Yeah.
So that you know just an example, the biggest purchases on an online site, Amazon or Flipkart. Can you imagine when it happens?
No idea. Tell me.
Monday morning.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
I work with a lot of e-commerce companies or clients. The biggest purchases happen on Monday morning.
Okay, so people going to work.
I don't know.
Maybe people are, learning or trying to deal with Monday morning blues. So they feel
okay. That's exciting that I have to go to work.
Yeah. So might as well pamper myself, right? Yeah. Okay. So we've been talking about it, that how it is essential for families, for parents to make talking money and financial, matters and transactions very normal. But still, and like we said, we need to do it because it is not being done openly, has not been done, still not been done. So tell me, we as people who are aware of it and we realize that this should be done, how can we try and, normalize open, age appropriate conversations around money, especially with daughters and teenagers? What is it that needs to be done?
Okay, Sangeeta, I wouldn't call it a closed topic, but I think back in time, back in those days, it wasn't something which wasn't discussed very openly. I remember my teen days, my father did involve me in money matters, but it was mostly to do with how I need to control my spending. I was anyways not very expensive, but I think somewhere he was scared if I inculcated these habits from my mother because she loved spending. In fact, she still does. And the exposure of investing was very minimal. But today things are different. Parents are more open, kids themselves are more aware and financially savvy. But even, I think as parents also, we try and tell our kids, okay, what to shop. We make them more brand conscious. I think there, one thing that we need to be careful, we need to stop making them brand conscious. Rather, instead of discussing where to shop, what to buy, what clothes to wear, rather than, we should discuss these money matters with that this is how spending can be controlled, this is what we should do, we should not do. In fact, we should give them our own examples of where we invest, how smart choices we make, how our money is working for ourselves. So I have a teen son. And the first step that I did for him, where I made him aware, was that he needed to budget his pocket money. So if he loses something, that if it's lost, then it comes out of his pocket money. I'm not going to pay for it. And then he budgets his pocket money, saves his pocket money. I made him open a bank account. So he puts it in the bank account. He knows that the money earns interest. Of course, the amount is petty, but at least that psychology that the money is working for him, it is giving him some benefit. And it was only 10 when he first told me and asked me about Bank Nifty, and I was zapped. In fact, I hate to confront, even I didn't know it at that time.
Okay.
And so the kids are really tech savvy and they are aware that, there is a different world which is called a financial world and it is moving. And if we guide them properly, see, there is plethora of information available on the web. But of course, we do get lured into Ponzi schemes. So that guidance has to be there. We have to be open with them on what to do, what not to do, and which links to click, which links not to click. They are very smart. And if we just guide them, they'll be better than us. And I'm sure that day will be soon.
No,
Right.
true.
Right.
These kids are very smart. And I think much more than what we were. And that's how the generations evolve, right? To add, I think the most important thing as parents to do is to make our kids realize what we earn, what we are doing with the money. We have to set examples, right? I know sometimes it happens that I feel that as parents, we sometimes do not wish them to have privy to our income and assets because somewhere we feel deep down that if we tell them, we fear that at this age, any amount of large money they are aware of, it can be put them into a comfort zone.
Right.
They may not possibly have that hunger to do something and build up their careers. But the flip side is maybe a lot of times we don't tell how we manage our own expenses or sometimes splurge as well. But looking at both ups and downs, I think it's our duty to discuss with them all the incomes and expenses aligned to it. What we can afford, what we cannot afford. And even sometimes we can afford something. We still make sure that we don't do that. So if I go with my kids on a mall, I would never
give my car for
a valet. That's for sure. I will go inside the parking, park my car, take a ticket, and then come out. So this is if they observe, they learn more. If I cancel my tickets, I waste maybe 30 minutes in front of them calling the call center asking for a refund.
Okay.
And though I know the time might be more important than $200 refund, it's more about that inculcating that habit, how we manage to save and invest for a future. So that they need to learn.
Yes.
That money is not about getting it easy.
But I can afford it. It's not about affordability.
I'll give you an instance. Like I think last week it happened. So my son is 9 years old. He asked me, I need to have a Netflix. There are a lot of movies. I said, okay. I opened up, I checked. Oh, there are two plans. Which one you want to buy? There's a 2 TV and a 4. Oh, he said, oh, we will hide it on all the 4 TVs we have at home. And then instantly my teenager interrupted. He says, oh, sorry, Why do we need for four? We need it for two because it never happens that we all watch four TVs at the same time and the same app as well.
Right.
I was stunned and I was very happy as well. Though I'm sure I can buy that subscription for as well, that she's able to decide what we need and what we want.
Absolutely.
And she would save that money.
Yeah. So coming to your point, Nitika, need and want, that is important. So yes, but I think you made a very valid point. When we give only partial information to people, their decisions may be based on that, in the sense, when we don't want to reveal about our income, our sources, our assets, all of that. But if you also tell them how you did it, how hard you have to work, and like you said, not giving your car to the valet, and you also show them, like saying, you walk the talk and you actually practice what you preach, then they understand the whole thing. And people are smart, and children are smart enough to know that this is what they should be doing and this is what they should not be doing. So I think you're right. As parents, as guardians, we need to reveal the full picture and not give just trailers and expect them to figure out the rest. That's not happening.
That won't happen. We need to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, even though, of course, here we've been mostly talking about children and what we should be doing to inculcate these, smart financial habits, or, the financial knowledge into them. But when you have organizations where you have women working for you, and largely women. So what workplace initiatives can, one introduce, like, maybe employee sessions or tax planning workshops, or, counseling sessions, or something which help women become more financially informed or confident? I mean, where I'm coming from is that, yes, I as a woman understand that I need to be more aware. Yes, there is a lot of information out there, but sometimes the sheer magnitude of the information may overwhelm me. I may not know where to start from. Unlike, I'm completely green, I know nothing about finance, but I want to learn. So what, as an employer, can you do to, help get a woman that?
I think, Sangeeta, we need to teach them. I feel as an organization, we need to do wonder in counseling our team members on a regular basis.
Right.
And I think, though we all feel, no offense to women, that women are more spendthrift than men, but it has to be for everyone, not just restricted to women. The entire new generation need to understand that, because they've been born and brought up in a more comfortable situation than what we were or our grandparents were. I'll give you an example. A woman team member, like she was a Gen Z kid. I would always pass by on her desk and I always see there's Amazon parcel delivered or a Zomato order getting on her desk. And one day I could not resist, not hold my back. I just casually asked her, how much do you save out of your salary? And she says, no, I just started earning. I want to spend and enjoy life. And that day I decided, oh, that's not done. So I make sure I take out time out of the entire meeting schedule the same very day, sat with her for an hour, make her understand how important the saving and the finances are, open a demat account. I call her my RM, help her to open a demat account online, and put her saving, a simple ETF for her. And she just came back 3 weeks ago, almost 2 years after this conversation. We never talked about this again. And I'm sure she's still spending on Amazon. But she actually came and thanked me that she has over 6 lakhs in her SIPs right now.
Wow.
And she said she could not save this money ever she would have thought. And that idea of habit of saving, investing helped her to grow more. She came and said, what else I can do? That change happened from spending to saving and investing. Yes. So that, as a mentor, wherever we get a chance, we need to do it. As an organization, we do conduct a lot of saving sessions, investment sessions to all our people. And I think we need to increase more from our perspective. That one change has to happen and push them to get some more information, because information is not a challenge in these ways. It's only people we need to guide them, that you need to do them.
Save them from the Ponzi schemes, actually.
Yes, for sure.
Of course.
You need to add something.
Exactly, Ankit. This is actually, making the coming generation more powerful financially. And as he rightly said before also, that, we have kind of got influenced with the Western culture, where we're spending using the plastic money, the UPI, which is very easy spending. And this generation has somehow forgotten how to save. And whereas, as Indians, saving was always inculcated in us. And Western people would never save. But now we've got so influenced that all we need to discuss is, oh, this sale is coming up, this is big billion day which is going to come up, I'm going to shop there, I'm going to get there. So all we discuss is how we are spending our hard-earned money. And let's be honest, as corporates, we do a lot of sessions, but they are only, health and wellness, posh, power dressing, leadership. But financially literacy, I don't see it anywhere on the cards. So it's like, it's about the real talk that we need to talk. And especially with women, not saying anything against men folks, but as women, we have these specific life phases where we have these maternity leaves, career breaks, caregiving duties, and that's where this financial planning support can become very empowering for us. So, just imagine if my company just said, hey, I'm here for you, I'll make you understand money at every stage of life. And that one little thing can change the confidence. Like you said, that girl now wants to do more because that small investment helped her raise her confidence, her decision making ability, and frankly, it is going to change her future in years to come.
Yes, that's very.
No, I completely agree. While I was preparing for this podcast, I realized that this knowledge is very crucial, and from early age till organizations, I think I definitely build up something to help all the people, not just the women, to guide them to financial freedom and understand. I'll give you one more example. I have this, I would not name, a girl in my team, and she was little struggling on her child education part of it. And another colleague of mine informed that she's getting good school, little expensive. And I said, okay. I said, oh, no worries. I help her personally because for me, education for a child is very special. And I helped her, which is fine. I don't need a credit for that. But few days after that, I was traveling to US and she asked me, sir, can you get me an iPhone from there? A little cheap.
Okay.
So that differentiation is where the challenges are coming even while people at work.
Right.
And that has to be mentored. And then I actually had a little blast on her. Why do you need an iPhone? You definitely need a phone if it's not working the way it should be. You need it for your work, for your home. But why do you need an iPhone?
I think it's more of a mindset, Ankit, that we take it as a stigma that I don't have a certain brand or a certain instrument or a certain gadget, so I am not acceptable in the society. So that mindset also needs to be changed more than just making them financially aware that this is not what life is all about.
Yeah. That's true. It's a lot of things, awareness. Like, of course, we need the little spark for the youngsters, but then even as we grow older, and again, this is gender agnostic, everybody needs to know that, certain things you don't have to do things because it is the done thing or someone else is doing it. So that also needs to be, and ultimately, I think it is your own willpower, your understanding. There's a lot of things which go into it. We can just make people aware, but ultimately, what people do still, remains their choice, right?
I think it's about choosing your role model, whether I want to make Warren Buffett my role model or Rihanna my role model.
Absolutely. It's a free country. You can choose what you want to be or who you want to be like.
Rihanna is more attractive than Warren Buffett.
Attractive, but do you know that she actually went bankrupt?
Yeah. So then?
And then her bookkeeper told her that she wanted to sue her bookkeeper for not telling her. So she said, do I really need to tell you that if you are loading on to more things, so one day you will have things, not the money. This is something that I don't need to coach you on.
Right. Absolutely. So finally, guys, if you had the power to design one nationwide campaign focused on financial independence for Indian women, what would it look like and who would you partner with?
So if I ever get a chance to design a nationwide campaign on financial independence for women, I think I'll skip the entire drama. No glittering, no jazzy ads, no corporate jargon, just something that women needs. Right? Whether they're at homes, classroom, workplaces, or even on their WhatsApp groups.
Right.
has to be called very simple, maybe my money, my rules. Paise ki baat. So the idea is to normalize talking money with the woman. It does not have to be a big deal. And it should not be.
True.
So I should roll out, I think I would roll out some relatable videos in local languages, not preachy, just 2 minutes clipping, explaining how to start a safe, how to save taxes, how not to fall in sketchy advices, and all said by real women.
Right.
Who are roping some influencers, the ones who, someone like you who post about the life, not someone in finance wearing a suit. Maybe large platforms like Zerodha, Grow, Paytm, they should come there giving the content, not just building the PR, but a content which actually makes sense. Or go to the NCRT, knock their door and say, why do we start talking about finance after college? Why can't we do small chapters about it while we are in the school?
Absolutely.
So the point is not to make everybody a financial planner.
Right.
But let everybody feel comfortable that this is my space too. I can figure it out. Have that confidence that this is not something I should be scared of. So once we start pushing that first step, knowledge is not a problem. They can always go ahead.
Very true.
So that would be my way of looking at it.
I'll take it further from here.
Yes.
So imagine having a money circle, like small offline, online gatherings where women just come together to learn, share their experiences, and ask questions without being judged. Like Sangeeta, you have book club. We can have some money club. And of course, if I may add here that you are already doing this through AboutHer community. And both of us truly believe that we often learn best from stories and safe spaces. So why not create those safe spaces where we are not ashamed of being asking that, oh, this is something I did not know about it.
Right.
And then I would also like to involve ASHA workers, self-help groups, or women collectives in rural areas, because financial independence is just not for the urban or English-speaking women. It is for every woman, whether she's running a boardroom or a small business from her home, even if she's working as a part-timer at my home. So because financial empowerment isn't a one-day workshop, it's a ripple, and we need to keep it going one conversation at a time. And if I link it with my own real life examples, I have coached women from my salon, my yoga instructor, my house help, my son's caretaker. I've helped them open their PPF accounts, FDRs, bank accounts. So, Sangeeta, we need to touch that grassroots level as well, where we can help changing lives of not only these women, but their families at large.
Yes, very true. And I think, a very like on the basis of the conversation, what I would like to say is that, we were talking about the generational shift and the transition. So if you look at the evolution of women in that sense, so from a woman who was not educated, she encouraged, motivated her daughter to at least get a decent level of education. Then that daughter inspired or encouraged her daughter to start earning, become independent. And now we are at a stage where we are probably telling our daughters, our children, that you need to become more literate, make your money, earn more money, make your money work for you. So I think we're in a good space, right?
Yes, for sure. Maybe like everybody needs to understand that you don't need a finance degree to understand money.
Yes, very true, very true. So, guys, while we've come to the end of the conversation, we still have the rapid fire round, which is 5 quick questions, 5 quick answers. You don't get time to think. I will ask a question, and who gets to answer it first will be decided by me. Fine?
Okay.
Okay. So here goes. So, Ankit, the first one is for you. One money habit you swear by.
My SIPs every month.
Great. And Nitika, what about you?
Going stock shopping.
All right. Okay, great. The next one. Ankit, it's again for you. A financial myth you wish would go away, especially when it comes to women.
That when you stop shopping, you can save more. You can actually save more.
Okay.
They feel that the second is, I think they need to understand it's not technical. It is not at all technical. It is very simple. There's a lot of finance in simple language. So I think women a lot of time understand that, oh, technical, it's what is this charts? Just read simple, learn simple, and follow simple steps.
Correct. Nitika, you want to add? I mean, what is your take?
My take would be that women often believe that my husband can do it better. I can do it too.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So Nitika,
I'm not only in finance.
yeah, yes.
I can be better at anything.
For sure.
Maybe everything. All right.
Yes.
Nitika,
So that I agree. My experience of working with so many women, I think 55% of workforce is women.
Yeah.
And I feel they're far more efficient than most of our guys are.
Well, yes.
The podcast guys will also watch.
Yeah.
They know. I tell them all the time.
But yes, that could be true too. So Nitika, the next one's for you. One woman who inspires you with her financial acumen.
My mother, although I keep telling that she's been a spendthrift, but back in those days, like I said, that the investing options were limited. She would always keep this money aside and she would invest in a lot of KVPs or UTIs because at that time you could buy them in cash. And while we were constructing our house, so all those KVPs and UTIs came in handy, and she just gave that money to my dad so that we don't have to compromise anywhere while we were constructing. So jokes apart, I may say that she's expensive, but I know she always came out when it was a rainy day for my father. And she still does.
Wow, wow. Ankit, what about you?
One woman, I think there's so many of them. I think there have been so many CEOs of Indian banks, and I always follow all of them, whether it was SBI, ACS, Axis, all three banks had their women CEOs. Right. And those are the one I always follow because they're the one who's influencing the entire generation. That the women can look at them and actually think about being there and learn to that level.
Right, right. Nitika, the next one's again for you. Your personal definition of financial freedom.
I should never be able to ask. I don't want to come to a stage where I need to ask anyone for money. I should always have them.
Great. And Ankit, what about you?
Then stop working, which I won't.
Right. Okay. And the last one, Ankit, you go first. If you had 20 lakh rupees to invest today, where would you put it?
Nifty ETF, that's it. Forget about it.
Okay. And you?
That's the best thing because I feel India is growing too fast. Most conservative things, people, and this is my advice to you who doesn't understand anything about finance, just start putting money into Nifty ETFs. 15 years, it will do wonders. And it is a proven record in US and a lot of developed markets. It's far better than mutual funds, gold, real estate, anything. You have a money, you do not understand anything, put in Nifty 50 and forget about it.
Okay. All right. What do you have to say?
I'll buy gold, not jewelry, gold.
Okay, fine. So to each his own, yes. Maybe I'll also do the same thing. So, well, what should I say? This is definitely the end of the conversation, but I think not only was it an interesting and informative conversation, but very inspirational too. Because I think for the listeners, for the viewers, there are lots of takeaways. And again, whether a man or a woman, boy or a girl, there's lots that they can take away from here. I hope they take it away. And thank you so much for being on the show and adding your 2 bits, making it so interesting and informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Sangeeta. It was nice talking to you.
Same here.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the AboutHer Show. If you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more from where that came from. Our previous guests have shared some amazing stories, so be sure to catch up on past episodes. To keep up with our inspiring conversations and to never miss an update, hit subscribe, rate, review, and share the love. Follow us on social media for some great content, and don't forget to check out our website www.abouther.com aboutherbysangeeta.com for stories that resonate, inspire, and empower. Know a remarkable woman or an inspiring man blazing a trail? We'd love to hear from you. Drop us a note at web.abouther@gmail.com and let's bring their story to life on the About Her Show.